Hey there, it's David H. Lawrence, the 17th, and today I want to talk to you about something that is really important to me. It's near and dear to my heart. It has been for decades. And that is what is essentially a relentless and weird attack on capitalism. Let me explain. I am not a lawyer, but I do know how to read, and I do have the skills of logical reasoning, I believe. Um, 21 or so years ago, Microsoft, May of 1998, Microsoft had charges brought against them. They were accused of being a monopoly, and these charges were promulgated by contacts from Netscape who thought that Internet Explorer and Windows was making it impossible for them to compete. They were making it hard for third parties to integrate into the browser and into the operating system. And at the time, I just shook my head in wonder and said, Microsoft is a monopoly? I have a choice as to what I'm going to use as a computer. I don't use a PC. I use a Macintosh. I could use a Unix box if I wanted to. Certainly, they owned the vast preponderance of the market at that time. But to call them a monopoly, to me, was just heretical. And I spent a lot of my time on the radio decrying the tax dollars that were being spent, the people involved. One of them was David Boies, who recently spent a lot of time defending the people that started Theranos, and especially their founder, with some tactics that if you want to read Bad Blood, you'll find to be just crazy. Anyway, and in the end, 2 years later, they were ordered to split into two different companies. One that did software and one that did the operating system. And then on appeal, most of that just went away. Because in those 2 years, the internet imploded. There was the dotcom bust. And, the realization of what was really going on with those prices, those stock, those, IPOs and everything, and competition from Macintosh and from others. LAMP wasn't really a thing, which is an acronym that stands for Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. It's a framework that a lot of servers run on. Other servers run on Microsoft's framework. Anyway, all this kind of really rankled me because they were calling Microsoft a monopoly, but they didn't have the kind of monopoly that, say, caused there to be monopoly laws created, like Standard Oil, who, if Microsoft was being like Standard Oil, they would have figured out how to put Apple out of business. They would have figured out how to, delegitimize open source operating system software. They didn't do any of that. They competed against it. And I spent a lot of time, as I said, on the radio talking about this. And it feels like we're seeing the same movie all over again with the incredibly lengthy article in the New York Times by Chris Hughes, who is one of the co-developers of Microsoft. He's termed a co-founder, but he was like in the dorm room when it was being created. Who knows how much he contributed, but he's certainly got a lot to say about it now. And there are also anti-competitive organizations that don't want anybody to get too big, and some politicians like Senator Elizabeth Warren, who, she's got some great positive points to her. I love, how she does things, but I think she's woefully misinformed when she wants to break up big tech. They're calling Facebook a monopoly. I don't know. The monopoly is termed as someone who completely owns a marketplace to the detriment of other competitors and forces the consumer to use them. I don't know about you, but I know of at least 20 to 30 social networks other than Facebook, and app developers and data collectors, including Google and Apple and so on. And are we really forced to use Facebook at the detriment of others? I just find this whole conversation one of frustration on my part, but I understand it. If you're going to blame Facebook for something, don't call them a monopoly, because they're not. They certainly are a leader in a space that has a lot of big companies. What they are is careless with our data and our ability to participate in financial transactions and other crazy, awful things. But to call them a monopoly is a real problem. It's a real problem. And the proposed solutions, which is to break them up, to break up WhatsApp and to break up Instagram, break them off, unravel their purchases of those companies. Do you think that's going to solve any of the problems that they're facing with data retention and the election stuff and the fake news and all that? It's not going to make one bit of difference. But what it does do is it gives people who have different agendas some awesome stuff to talk about, especially if you're running for president. I mean, who wants to disagree as a modern consumer who's trying to not be on Facebook? I don't like Facebook. I like it for some things, but I don't like it for others. I don't want to build my business on their platform. I've talked about this in other videos, and I'm doing something about that, but I'm not leaving Facebook as a way to communicate with my clients or a way to find new clients or a way to have fun looking at people's pictures and all that sort of thing. I find these knee-jerk reactions and these headline statements. You have to break up big tech. Good luck to you on that. Good luck to you on being careful what you wish for, because you just might get it. There's another movement going on saying break up the app stores. Don't let the app stores wall off your ability to get cool stuff to play with. It should be open. Well, those app stores, at least the Apple App Store, allows users to have confidence that the apps aren't going to be destroying their devices and usually safeguarding their data. When Apple finds out that an app is doing something nefarious, they get rid of it. That couldn't happen in an open marketplace or an unwalled environment. It's great for developers because you don't have to jump through all the hoops. Same thing with Facebook. Facebook isn't stopping people from creating apps and integrating and not working with others. You break them up by removing WhatsApp and Instagram, they'll just continue to grow on their own and they'll have their own set of problems. I just find this whole idea of break up big tech as an interesting and provocative statement to make and an attention grabber and something to differentiate people, one candidate against another, a disgruntled founder from his former partners, people who insist that capitalism is bad at its core. This is dangerous. This is really dangerous to jump to that conclusion. And I just wanted to share my thoughts with you on it. I'd love to know what you think. Everybody has an opinion about this. I want to hear yours. Put it in the comments below if you're watching on votogogo.com. What do you think about Facebook? Should they be broken up? Do you understand what a monopoly actually is? Do you understand the difference between a coercive monopoly and a non-coercive monopoly? There's a big difference there. Microsoft was termed a non-coercive monopoly, as opposed to Standard Oil or the banking industry, etc. So let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. And how hard is it for you to quit Microsoft? How hard is it for you to not get them off your phone or off your computer, which is actually pretty easy, but actually just stop using them for fun and enjoyment and maybe for your work? I mean, what's the draw there, right? There is a draw for different functions. I just want to know what you think. And this is one of those videos that I just had to do because I was in the car about 15, 20 minutes ago listening to a representative of an anti-competitive organization who wants to break up every big business, not just Facebook, not just Apple, not just Google, but every big business. And that to me is dangerous. It's really dangerous. The economies of scale that we achieve, the things that we have now in our society, both good and bad, that wouldn't be here but for big tech and the ability to create things and to market things and to have those things seep into the culture. Are there bad things? Absolutely. Are there things that I'd like to see changed? Yes. But the idea of breaking up a company, having the government come in and tell that company how big they're allowed to be, That to me is dangerous. It's really dangerous. So I want to know what you think, though. Please put a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. And if you're not watching this on vo2gogo.com, please go to vo2gogo.com. That's where the conversation is going to be kept sane and calm, and no trolls, no haters. If you want to leave a comment on YouTube, go ahead. But we'd love to have you at vo2gogo.com because we've got so much cool stuff to offer you there. And if you want to be notified by YouTube when I have a new video that comes out, you can join my channel. You can subscribe to it. There's my head there. If there's no head there, look for a subscribe button somewhere on the page. And if you want to see the latest video I've done, click on that frame and YouTube will play it for you immediately. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.